Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Grubbly. Today's video is going to be about Path of Exile 2, and specifically we're going to talk about Hollow Palm and my thoughts on how we're going to be scaling the damage and how to run it if we're starting at Monk, things like that. So first of all, going over the Keystone itself, we have Hollow Palm technique. We can use the quarterstaff skills as long with our hands, hands and feet actually, based on the animations, as long as both hand slots are empty, and the unarmed attacks will gain fizz damage based on their skill level, 1% more attack speed, not increase but more a multiplier, per 25 item evasion rating on equipped armor items, and plus 0.1 critical hit chance per 10 item energy shield on equipped armor items. So, because of this, let's start with how we're going to go with leveling. I think what most people are going to do is be rushing Hollow Palm because it's the new tech, and if you use Hollow Palm, you get your flat damage from the gem, or I should say from just the skill itself and the skill gems, and that is going to work the way that the unarmed skills right now in Path of Exile 2 work. So for instance, if we pop in game and we look at Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm here has the added cold damage that's inherent in the gem itself, whereas a typical melee skill like Ice Strike, it converts fizz to cold, but it does not have damage in the gem itself. So Hollow Palm is going to make all the quarterstaff skills work like the current unarmed skills. Now that's going to be important because that's going to relate to our scaling. So before I get into the gem scaling and everything like that, I just want to take a quick look at the tree. As I mentioned in the last video I did, Hollow Palm is going to be right here on the tree, right above the warding potions and altered brain chemistry node. And in order to get there the fastest on a monk start, what we'll do, most people are going to be starting here, going for the skill speed and attack nodes. We go over here, let's just say we take Dex, we're going to run straight over here. Now, my recommendation would be, at this point, this is, I don't remember if this actually changes it accurately. So we hit level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, let's back it up, because 13 usually people are hitting in the ramparts before going to Geonor in the mansion, and before that you get 4 skill points from the books, 2 from Una's loot and 2 from the bird, Crowbell. So really you'd have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. 4 would let you take Hollow Palm. So that's if you waited all the way until 13. But before that, if we count this, let's say 4 of these are going to be those skill books, because that's fairly early on. What I actually recommend you do before going to 13 is at here, go here, here, and here. And then once you get that 13th point, respec these nodes, because this way you don't just take attribute nodes that don't give you anything as you're leveling up. Start either with that or come up here. Like a lot of times early on the attack speed is going to feel better, but you could also go with the damage side, or you could just do increased attack and increased attack, but I think the notable is stronger. So yeah, you do that, and then when you hit level 13, then you take these points and you go for Hollow Palm. Now, let's talk about the scaling itself. As I mentioned before, the scaling, it specifies that the physical damage is based on the skill level of the gem. So if you're using Glacial Cascade, it's whatever gem level you have that skill. If you're using Ice Strike, it's whatever level you have that gem skill, or whatever gem level you have that skill. So what we don't know is how much damage is going to be on each gem level, but what I think we can safely assume is that this scaling is going to work the same as the current unarmed skills as well as frozen locusts. Now, how much that curve goes of like how much damage they're getting per level, we don't know. They might have adjusted that a little bit and made it a little weaker, because as of right now, gem levels work really, really well on the unarmed skills and on frozen locusts, and they specifically nerfed that. Like, they didn't like it. Mark called it out in the interview, saying like, no, we want we want weapons to matter, and so we don't want people just going after the +7 melee skills and having GG staff and being good to go. So I don't know if they said if you're doing Hollow Palm you are allowed to do that, or if they said you're going to do that but we're weakening it a little bit. So we'll see. That being said, there's two things to consider. Number one, this works with no quarterstaff in your hands, so putting gem levels on your gloves and on your amulet are still going to be very important. The reason being, to give you an example of how the gem levels scale right now, if I put let's do Shattering Palm. Right now it's at just under 1500, and if I put in +1 level of supported cold skills, the support skill, +1 level brings it up to 1650. So that brought it up almost 150, which is 10%. On some skills, it comes out to more. Frozen Locust specifically, it's at 10.7, and then that brings it up to 12.2. That's somewhere between 10 and 20. I can't even math it right now, but it's 10% more damage per level. So, or 10% or more damage per level. So going for, let's say you had, 50 to 100 flat fizz on your quarterstaff. That'd be the equivalent of adding 10% more of that flat fizz onto your quarterstaff. So the upside of Hollow Palm, of course, is that we don't have to worry about quarterstaffs. And then the downside is, I think this is going to be more mid-range of what you could get on a quarterstaff, but if you had, let's say, like 3 flat rolls on your quarterstaff, that your quarterstaff might actually be better. So while you're leveling, using Hollow Palm, you do want melee skills on your gloves and on your amulet if you can find it. If not, flat damage on your gloves and rings is going to be great. But what I think might actually be optimal is that as you're leveling, if you find a quarterstaff that has really good rolls on it, and not worrying about gem levels like on this, or melee skill levels on this staff, but like if you found just randomly a quarterstaff with like 2 or 3 really good flat damage rolls, or the high percent, or the percent damage of elemental skills with a good roll, it might be worth unspecking Hollow Palm along the way while you're using that, and then when the damage falls off from that, switch back to using Hollow Palm. So kind of using this dynamically, because if you find a really strong quarterstaff, you're probably going to do more damage, but we're not sure how the evasion or how the attack speed will scale. The multiplier for attack speed is probably really strong, but that really gets strong later in the game when you can scale the evasion and the energy shield, or really just the evasion for the speed, on your gear. The energy shield, again, that'll also be stronger later, because apparently the unarmed skills or the unarmed versions are all going to count as the base 5% critical hit chance, and then every 100 flat energy shield you get on your gear is 1% more. So that's going to take, let's see, quarterstaff I believe is like 10%, yeah, around 10% critical hit chance as a base for most quarterstaffs. So you have to have 500 flat energy shield on your gear in order to get there. So even here, like, I've got pretty good energy shield defenses. This is at level, what's this character, 72. I've got 38 here, another 37 here, so that's 75. Here we're at almost 275, so that's 350. And then the helm is almost 90. That's under 500. But it's close to 500. But this was, this is basically hardcore SSF at the time. This is after I ripped. But yeah, so like even at level 72, I'm not up to that that 500 mark. And that's with some of these pieces, like the gloves being an energy shield base, not even an evasion energy shield base. So it can be hard to get the high enough numbers for that critical hit chance to equal up to a quarterstaff, but the multiplicative attack speed is really what it is, and of course just the cool factor. So summarizing it, you're still going to want flat damage rolls on your rings and your gloves if you can get them. You do need life, but you're also going to want melee skills on the gloves and the amulet, because that is going to push the damage really well for any skill you're using with Hollow Palm. I believe that's it. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great day. Good luck planning your league starters. I will be putting out another video soon about the kinds of Acolyte and the build styles that I think are going to be good, and what my plans are for how I'll be league starting my Acolyte. Again, if you have any questions or anything, leave them in the comments below. Come hang out on Discord and in streams on Twitch, all the usual. Thanks for watching. Take care.